came out from the wild Canadian outdoors.
Oh, did I ever? I feel like I look very like Canadian winter today. Like
Yes.
my hair is braided. I've got like a turtleneck on.
Is the turtleneck very Canadian thing?
I feel like it is. I feel like it's a very like Canadian winter.
French Canadian, I would say. Because for me, turtlenecks are very French. Like
Really?
You have the bolo, and then you have the whole.
To me, they're just a Canadian winter thing.
Ah.
Because
I should probably wear turtlenecks as well. Although I don't have a neck for turtlenecks. It's more of a, like, I have shoulders and then my head starts. So I would need to elongate my neck for me to wear a turtleneck properly.
Oh, I'm sure you'd manage. Maybe the turtleneck would encourage the neck to exist.
Oh.
Or it could be like a fake neck, a faux neck.
A faux neck.
Yeah.
Instead of a turtleneck.
It's like...
Oh, look at his elongated neck. Yeah.
Yes, wow.
Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's faux neck. Yeah. I think we got a business going here soon.
Wow.
Yes. We're coming out swinging today.
We're coming out hot.
I picked up her notepad already. Wow.
I know. We're 5 minutes. You haven't even said what we're doing, who we are. Where are we?
Who am I? Help.
Who am I? What are we doing?
It is the 18th of January today. We are recording Mostly Finished Thoughts. My name is Theodor Elfving, and I'm talking to Alanna Matty, or Alanna Matty, as she's known if you have a speech impediment. Also known as Banana Hattie, but that is a whole different story. Okay. And we're recording a podcast. And today has been wild.
Recording a podcast.
Because yesterday I sat down. Where it's been fun because you sent me all of our podcast episodes yesterday.
Oh, I did. I gave Theo a job.
I'm a very happy boy because I got a job. It felt so good. I like grunt work or like the. So I made art boards in Affinity Designer, then put out our layout, and I got some pointers from you on how we wanted it, and then I did it, and then I put in every title, and it was so much fun going through the titles of the episodes, and it was just like reading an old journal. They made me all happy. Go, that's this. Oh, yes, that's the one.
I think I'm sure there will be some point in my life when I do go back and re-listen to old episodes. Yeah. I have not reached that point in my life yet.
Neither have yet.
But
yeah.
I think at some point I probably will. But yeah, it's if you are listening to this on YouTube,
yes.
Welcome.
This might be anything. We just today, the 17th, we started uploading it to YouTube. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it took a fair while to export them from DaVinci Resolve. It might be because I'm uploading them in like 1920 or 1080p resolution, which
for a still image.
But still, and then it's the audio quality. But so it only takes like 9 minutes to render, which is fine though. Because I was thinking about it, like at first I was sitting here going, but then 9 minutes a piece, it's only 25 episodes, and then I'm done.
And it also occurred to me, like, when you told me it was taking 9 minutes, I was like, holy shit, like, that's not right. And then I was like, wait, a lot of them are like an hour and a half long. So, like, even if it not being like a lot of video to process, like, that's still a long time. It takes a long time to export from Reaper, but I don't know how long it takes because I usually just like start it and then I'm doing something else. Yeah. So... But yeah, very exciting.
So I've been, and today also my PayPal restriction has been lifted.
Hey, it is a happy day.
Some Monopoly money today as well from people. It was fun.
That's very exciting.
So I'm very happy. I finally.
Yeah, and triple whammy. Congratulations on 12,000 followers, my friend.
Oh yes, thank you. That was Friday. Holy moly! Yeah,
it's very exciting.
It was. Mind-boggling. That was like one of the biggest ones so far. Or of course it is because it's the biggest.
Oh yeah, everyone is going to be the biggest one so far. But I feel like they feel different.
Yeah, 1K felt amazing because there was like 1K of holy shit. I'm new at this and I got 1,000 people. 2K was fun. Or it was more of a, we did 2K now. And then 3K was fun. 10K was also one of those hola.
Yeah. I feel like 5K and 10K for like 1K, 5K, 10K.
Yeah.
I think were the big ones for me. And then, but I'm still there. I'm still.
But I'm bad at celebrating as well, or like cherishing moments. I should. And that's what I did on Friday. And my mom, my loving mother, sent me a text. Said, "Would you like some prosecco?" Because she lives, like, she could come here with bike. And I went, "No, I'm good. I think because I want to remember this soberly." So me and Fel went for a run after the stream, and then we went to a place and picked up some food and some sweets.
Nice.
And I had a sober celebration, which was fun.
That is really fun. Have I talked about what Ghost and I are doing to like celebrate our achievements?
No.
Now we have like a new little tradition
Games?
that we're doing.
I'm
No,
guessing.
so we're doing so I was listening to a different podcast that Ed Sheeran was on. And Ed Sheeran, whenever he has like an accomplishment, he buys like a really nice bottle of wine, and then him and his wife will drink this bottle of wine together, and they'll talk about whatever the achievement is, and then they'll write on the bottle what they bought it for. And then they have an estate, so they have a wall that's all bottles. Which I thought is like super cool. Like what a neat like visual way to like you go into that room and every empty bottle of wine
like trophies,
it's like a trophy, but it's like an achievement. And so we really liked that idea because like I'm also really bad at celebrating stuff like that. So we're making a point of celebrating stuff. So what we started doing, and we've only done it the one time, but we celebrated 2 things at once, which was we go out to dinner and we buy a little plant.
A little plant. Oh.
A little plant. And then we put a little label on the plant that says like on the pot that says like why we bought it. And we're just doing like little ones so they can go on the bookshelf and like you can see them all. But we don't have room for like wine bottles and we don't drink that much. So it's like we can't, we're not downing a bottle of wine for every achievement.
That's fantastic. What a great way to celebrate that thing. And then when you have your big house later on, you can just plant them outdoors, and then you can sit out and look from the
garden of my achievements. Yes. Wow, what a lovely idea.
The Garden of Achievements. That's a song. Holy moly!
It sounds like a song.
Yeah,
it's true.
What? Yeah,
it's true. Speaking of songs, whoa. Yes. What a segue. I had the absolute pleasure of getting to work on one of your songs this week.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed it.
I thoroughly enjoyed recording as well, which felt weird because that has been like the most anxiety-driven thing I've done in a long while, is thinking about recording. But when you said, I need the stems for this, I need vocal track and guitar track, I went, okay, that's very concrete. Now I know exactly what to do. Because I've been thinking, I need to do all of this at once. No, do this, and then we have a start. And yeah, hearing you play piano and thunder was just, and the EQ of the voice was just, oh, can I sound like this? This is very nice.
It's funny that like the thing that you noticed the most was like the piano and your voice, whereas the thing that I noticed the most was like the bass and the guitar EQ.
Yeah.
When I listen to the recording that you sent me versus the recording that I gave back to you, the thing I noticed the most was the guitar and the bass. So that's really funny.
Did you add bass as well?
Oh yeah, there's a ton of stuff in there.
Because I thought so. Because Phil was listening to. Because I live in a fairy tale, so my wife was making me pancakes on Sunday morning. And as she was making pancakes, she was listening to the song on our speakers in the kitchen. And I left the kitchen to collect something from the living room. I came back and went, wow, this sounds like a song. And I was like proud of myself for once, because a lot of the songs I recorded, I'm not happy with the recording, and but this feels like a God honest, earnest song about how I was feeling that night. Nothing fancy, just this. Very happy about it.
Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, there's some ambient synth in there. There's some bass in there. There's some piano in there. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. But I wanted to make it all really subtle, because it's like your guitar and your voice are the most important part of the track. So everything else in the track should be complementing it and not like distracting from it, kind of thing. So,
and since a noob I am, I recorded the thing live with both things, and then I had a lot of guitar bleed into the vocals. So I'm going to give you, the proper tracks as well for this.
I'm so excited. So like last year we talked about it on the podcast. I said I want to produce more music for people. So I tweeted about it this year, like in the new year, to be like, I really want to do this. And now I have 4 projects that I'm working on for people, and they're all people that are like super rad and that I'm like really excited to be working with, and like it just feels really good. I'm really excited and really happy about it.
Extremely happy.
I am.
Over the moon is a phrase that comes to mind there.
Listen. I just went out in the snow, and I love the snow. Yep. And it was really nice and really fun. I've got a really good coffee. My office is an absolute disaster zone, but that doesn't matter. I'm talking to Theo. I'm working on music. It's a good day, you guys. It's a good day.
Yeah. That's fantastic. So
we have a lot of snow here.
Yeah, I don't know if you listeners seen the news about Canada, but there's a plethora of snow there. Yeah,
there's like 3 feet of snow. A lot. That's a lot of snow.
That's a lot of snow. We have none here. We've had snow. We had snow for I think 2 hours.
Okay.
That was it.
We had snow, like a full snowstorm overnight on Sunday night, to the point where like on Monday morning I took Clive outside and things hadn't been plowed yet. Like it was so quiet. Like I live close to a highway and then like a main road, so like we always have a little bit of like car sound. Like it's not like loud, but
there's
it's loud. And like it was just so quiet. It was so quiet, just like standing out there and listening to the city. And it was just like, it was just wonderful. It's like someone just put like a blanket over the whole city.
That's why I love snow as well. Like, everything just, that whole... was that when you recorded Clive in the Snow?
Yes.
Oh my God. I've been rewatching that. Oh, that is... Oh, it makes me so happy seeing that little boy in the snow. Oh God,
he's like a snow dolphin.
Yeah,
that's how he moves through the snow. If you guys can find the video on TikTok. It's he's very grateful.
It's fantastic. The old timeline cleanse, when you see that and you go, yes, there are right things with the world.
Yeah,
is good. Speaking of right things with the world.
Yeah.
You ready for this segue?
Whoa. Yes.
You sitting down? No.
I'm sitting down.
Microsoft.
Oh, what a segue.
Yeah. Writing some issues in the world. Hopefully.
I hope so. That's my hope for it.
Yeah.
And
I hope,
like
I hope he gets sacked now.
Yes, I really do. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about. Activision Blizzard has been just in the shit for a while because there was a bunch that came out about mistreatment of employees, specifically like female employees. And it's just like a history of that treatment. And it's nothing new in the games industry, which doesn't excuse it, doesn't make it okay. But one of the main people involved in the like scandals and in that culture has been allowed to stay, and he's just wild. A real piece of work. And like you can go and read about it if you want. I can't remember what his freaking name is.
Can I talk? Can you talk? No, not that dude. Can you talk?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I could look it up, but I don't care to. I don't want to give. Oh, Bobby Kotick? Kotick,
perhaps. Yeah.
Is it Bobby Kotick? Is that his name?
Never heard. I never heard. Only Reddit's.
Yes. It is Bobby Kotick.
Hopefully, he's going to be let go. There are different rumors that he's going to be staying on. Some other sources are saying that he's going to be let go. Hopefully,
apparently Microsoft won't confirm whether it will keep the CEO once the deal goes through.
I'm just hoping that Blizzard goes back to old Blizzard, like the Blizzard we all knew and loved. Yes,
I agree. I mean, it's always a bit of a crapshoot when companies acquire other companies. Yeah. And like there is a marked difference between the Blizzard before Activision and the Blizzard after Activision, especially the World of Warcraft before Activision and the World of Warcraft after Activision. I've been playing World of Warcraft for many, many, many years. I stopped when all of the I've stopped at various points and like for like years at a time. But we had just gotten back into it last year, and then the scandal broke, and we were like, well, let's not give our money to this company anymore. But like, I'm hoping that with Microsoft acquiring them, I don't know. I hope many things. I hope that they sack the dickwad CEO. Yes. Secondly, I hope that they give Blizzard kind of its independence back, like get it out from under the wing of Activision, if that makes sense, so that it's not like Activision Blizzard. It's like
developers developing games and not shareholders going, make me money.
Yeah, that was one of the main problems at Ubisoft. It is one of the main problems at Ubisoft. Like, I remember even when I was there, seeing the shareholders get walked through the studio and games being planned and then things being changed in the games because of what the shareholders thought, and because it's better for them to put out a game that they know is safely going to make a decent amount of money instead of taking a risk and putting out something that could be really successful or could not be really successful, because they care more about their like board members and their biggest shareholders than they do about I don't want to say than they do about making a good game, because a lot of people there really, really, really do care about making good games. But I think the higher ups, the highest people at the company are only greenlighting things that are safe. Yeah. Because it's a safe bet to monetize it. And I think that's a shame.
Yeah. Yes. I'm just hoping now I can stop boycotting Blizzard, because I've been boycotting them now since the whole thing with Hong Kong as well. Their whole thing. And I would really, really, really wanted to play Diablo Resurrected.
Yeah.
I can do that soon. Hopefully.
I hope so. Yeah. I'm like, I'd love to get back into playing some of those games. Like, we beat so many games over the holidays because of being isolated because of COVID. Oh my God. Okay. How many did we beat just over the holidays? I want to say like 5 different games we saw credits roll on, and it wasn't like we started and finished them within the break, but we finished a bunch of them, which was wild. But I don't know. I could use a little mindless World of Warcraft in my life.
I was talking about World of Warcraft on stream today.
Really?
I forgot about. I've been bad-mouthing World of Warcraft for a while because of my roaring addiction to it. Me and my friends call it the digital heroin.
Oh, it is. 100% it is.
Sample it a little bit here. Just this time I can handle it. I won't be playing that much. And then, but when I started playing World of Warcraft, I just realized the other day that was like my jumping off point into adulthood or independence. I think we talked about this before as well, but in that you suddenly met people who you never met before. It didn't matter how old you were or where you were from. Yeah. You were just playing with people with the love of the game. And you learned to make a new version of yourself. And how much I owe to the guild leader of the guild I was in, who put up with my 17-year-old bullshit. Or I wasn't like an edgy teen, but I mean I was still a teenager, and teenagers aren't like the easiest people to wrangle.
Oh yeah, I was around the same age when I was playing, and I'm I'm pretty grateful for the guilds that I was in. I made a lot of friends through there, and like that is one thing that coming back to the game isn't the same for me anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not, some of my characters are still in guilds with people that still play, but I've been gone for so long that a lot of people have also left. And so like I don't have that group experience anymore. When I go back, I'm really kind of just like playing on my own, or getting into like random groups with people, or like playing with Ghost. But like that feeling of being in the guild and having a common purpose, and like I was big into raiding. That was my big thing in the game, was getting better gear and raiding. And I tanked for an expansion. I healed for multiple expansions, and like I always wanted to raid lead, and like I don't know, I was like such a go-getter. I've always been like that. And so my bullshit when I was 17 was being like, can I like lead like the second raid group? Like I'd really like to do that. And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, it
I mean, that's huge for a 17-year-old, and like building that confidence and just getting to
telling all these like 30 and 40-year-old men what to do.
And then doing this virtually where there's no risk either. Just learning about life and developing that sense of networking and talking to people. I never thought about it consciously before, like this, because I read back then about like the U.S. Army now. You can put this on your resume if you're applying for like an officer role. You can use your skills. That was like back then, where people went like people who are raid leaders would be good officers. But I never thought about like even the the smallest bit about questing with a full group, learning dungeons. When there was no info to be had about dungeons. Yeah. Just being able to work out how this works. Who's pulling, who's doing what. What role. Yeah. Yeah.
I miss that. I miss that old feeling. That old like camaraderie feeling. Nostalgia. For sure. Yeah. But it's definitely nostalgic. And like I get it still. Like I still enjoy it. I've played the most recent expansion. I really liked it. I thought they're doing a pretty good job. Like their last one I didn't like at all. So it was nice to play this one and be like, oh, this is interesting. I'm actually kind of invested in the story and what's happening here. And like, I don't know. It's different than it was. Yeah. And I hope that maybe it can go back to being a little bit more like it used to be. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the formula is for that, but I know I'm not the only person who thinks that.
I've been clean since 2009. That was my last run-in with World of Warcraft. When my then roommate and then girlfriend, my then girlfriend said, "Can't you and your roommate play World of Warcraft with me?" And we went, no, that's not a good thing when we play World of Warcraft because it gets intense. And she said, what's the worst that could happen? And like fast forward 2 weeks, my friend took time off from work. This was the middle of summer, with his vacation, where we sat in his apartment and just played World of Warcraft. It was magnificent.
Yeah, see that.
But I don't think I could. Now I told Fel I play games that I can pause, like single player games, or games that I can walk away from if it's multiplayer. If it's like one game and then I'm done.
Yeah, that's kind of what League is for me. It's like I can come in, I can play a game, and then I can walk away. And I like that.
Because you can never play one game of League or Dota. You always have to play 2 or 3. Because you play one game of League, you either win or you lose. Yeah. And you can't end on a loss, right? Then you have to play another game. You can't, and then you have
Yeah, I get that totally. I've gotten better at walking away for sure. Yeah. And not getting sucked down that rabbit hole, because I've learned that if I do get sucked down that rabbit hole, like if I play a really bad game and we lose terribly and everyone's just like yelling at each other, even if we're not all yelling at each other, like if it was just a crap game, I'll stop. I'll walk away. I'll close it, because it's like I know that I'm going to go into the next game with like a really terrible headspace, and that is just going to mean I'm going to just continue to lose terribly forever and ever. Yeah. That, Theo, is called wisdom.
Yes, that's how I climb the leaderboards. Not leaderboards, but my ranking in Dota is that I used, like, if I lost, I quit for the day. It's the same thing in people do the same thing in poker when they're like, they could talk about tilt, but just if it goes well, play a maximum of 5 games. As soon as you lose, tap out, and then
I think that's smart.
It's not a healthy way to look at gaming, though. when you play, or if you play to be recreational, I don't think that's the way to go about it. I think there are better.
Yeah.
But also it's fun, and it's like a sport, and you have that whole competitive thing, and also the sense of camaraderie with the people you play with.
So I don't think we've spoken about this, because I started having this conversation with my partner just like around the time when we took the 2 weeks off.
Mm-hmm.
But I am doing research, or like I'm slowly trying to like build a thesis for a YouTube video about the idea of finding joy as an adult. And but it's less about that, and it's more about like, I realized that there are like 0 positive representations of people playing games in media.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, even to the point of like in Marvel, like a comic book series, that Thor just like gets fat and plays video games, and everyone's like, well, Thor's given up on life, and like that is their that's their like representation of that culture, and it's so frowned upon. But it's like, you can go watch Friends for the 10th time sitting on your couch. You can watch as much Netflix as you want. That's all socially acceptable.
On your couch and watch TV and have it just feed you.
Yeah, but for some reason, there's something about games that have such a stigma, even though there's like, it's a huge market. There's so many people that play it. It makes so much money. Like, someone was comparing, Fox. Yeah. Disney bought Fox, like all of Fox, for $70 billion.
$70 billion. Wow.
$70 billion. Microsoft just bought Blizzard,
60.
Activision Blizzard King, for $69.7 billion.
Nice. Sorry.
Yeah. But like, that's
that's bonkers. Yeah.
Like, when you think about those two things, that like that speaks to how actually like lucrative the gaming industry is, and yet for some reason it's still something that's so stigmatized and so frowned upon.
Antisocial behaviors when you sit at home last Friday night and play games with your friends. Going, what? No, yeah, good time.
Yeah, it's fully social. Whereas like sitting at home and drinking an entire bottle of wine and watching Netflix by yourself.
No, that's how
self-care.
But then you're binging, and it's a little bit fun. A little bit, it's
a little bit naughty.
Yeah, a little bit naughty. You can binge for tonight.
You guys can't see it, but Theo's got like a little hand motion going on.
A little claw.
A little sassy claw.
Sassy claw. But it angers me. Not angers, but that people still look down on like gaming, and as you said, there's no like okay portrayal of gamers. They're either like the edgy gamer, or there are. I'd say, I don't have a percentage. This is pulled out of thin air. 70% of gamers, you would never know they're gamers. They'll never talk about their gaming. They'll just play games. And they don't, I mean, the whole thing, oh, God.
Get into it.
When people are considered a gamer, and like, you're not a proper gamer until you've done this. Why the gatekeeping of other gamers, people who are trying to enjoy a recreational hobby, going, have you put in enough hours into this to call yourself a gamer? What was the first console you ever owned? Huh? Did you?
My head is gonna fly off of my neck. I'm nodding so hard.
It's fantastic.
I think that is kind of a huge part of it. I think that there is shame on multiple levels. There's a shame of like admitting that you play games, or that that's something that you do because it isn't seen as a societally acceptable form of entertainment. Yeah. And then when you are a gamer, quote unquote, when you do play games, there is a very, very toxic and elitist group of people that have been gaming, you know, forever. Yeah. These 40-year-old white men who are like, oh, well, you don't actually know what you're doing. And it's like, oh, definitely younger. But like there is like a certain demographic of like older gamers that have been around forever and ever. They're the same ones who are like, yeah, you saw the movies, but did you read the comics? Like,
for fuck's sake.
It's the same. If it's the same demographic, right? Who are like, in a sense, I understand it because it is this kind of space that they've cultivated with people that are like them, where they feel safe. And when new people start coming into that space, they feel threatened and challenged because there are new people coming into the space that they're in. And I understand that, but also stop it. Stop it. It doesn't matter. It's not an excuse.
But as you're saying, I understand where they're coming from. You're a former geek, or you're still a geek, but like geek now is not like a really as a
derogatory.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Pitch it down and then term. That is what was back then. And I imagine if you were a gamer and like a real nerd, like an outcast, and you took to gaming, I can understand you being scared that people are invading your space, but also you're doing the same damn thing.
Exactly.
So
yeah, you're doing the same thing.
We have a new generation of gamers. I will, as I've said before, imagine that are like my nephew, my niece. I mean, she grew up with an iPad. She's never not known internets.
Yeah.
That is, her and her friends have started playing Sea of Thieves. They learned at age 5 to navigate with a map in Sea of Thieves and communicate like, we need to go sail east from here.
That's amazing.
That is remarkable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've been owning, my brother is so very proud because he stands behind her as she plays, and like she's owning like clans of like dudes who scream around their mics, being owned by 6-year-old girls. It's fantastic.
That's amazing. See, that makes me so happy. And like, I really do hope that there is a new generation of people coming through. But I also hope that it's like, I hope that the term gamer goes away.
Yeah.
I do. I think it's like, it's such a label, and it's a label that it makes you other immediately.
Yeah.
You know, like when I was totally, when I was working at the startup company a few years ago, everyone was fucking too cool for school, and I became better friends with a bunch of the programmers than with the people that were in, you know, more of what my department was in, like sales and marketing and stuff, because it came out that I used to work in video games and that I play video games. And so then I just became like the girl who knew stuff about video games, and I was the gamer, and be like, oh, Alanna, you're a gamer, right? Like, what do you think about this? And it's like, it's always used in a belittling sense. It was never like I don't know. It's not, it just sucked, you know? And like, there was a lot that sucked about that job, but like having that label really sucked. It's not like I'm like, oh, you're such a TV watcher.
TVist.
Oh, are you a movier? What?
Yeah, a Netflixer. A flixer.
Like, oh, you're a theater attendee? Oh, well, how dare you? So. Like, it's just, you know, I don't like the label on it. I think it puts up barriers for people who don't play games right now, who don't think that they can be that, who don't want to be that because it's got so much stigma, you know. I don't know.
And I would say like the crowning on the turd sandwich is the Dark Souls community.
Really?
Or like the people who, well, I mean, a lot of the Dark Souls speedrunners are fantastic people, but the amount of people going, but have you beat the game with just a sword and no stats? Going, no, perhaps I played for fun. You ever thought of that? perhaps I don't need to make this into a competition with myself. Perhaps I can just enjoy a game and be like challenged by the game. God damn it! I'm not angry. So okay, to summarize, let people enjoy what they enjoy.
Yes, that is the key thing. Like let people enjoy what they enjoy. And so I have a follow-up question for you, because something that I think is very tied to this is the idea of like nostalgia.
Yeah.
Which we were just talking about in reference to like World of Warcraft, but I think in like at what age do you think you started to look back on things nostalgically?
Oh.
So let me give you an example. When we were away on the East Coast with my family, my brother was with us. My brother is 8 years younger than me, so he's like 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 21. And he met up with some friends, and they went to they were rewatching all of the Hunger Games movies together because they love them, and they're like super nostalgic for those movies now. Because they came out when my brother was, I think, in public school.
Yeah.
And so it became like a nostalgia thing when he was like a teenager.
Wow.
So like now he looks back on this as like, I'm getting joy from this because it's, it's nostalgic. But like, it just got me thinking about like, what age do you think you really started to like think that you couldn't enjoy those things anymore without it being nostalgic? I guess that's really the question.
I'm trying to wrap my head around this. You mean when I start first experiencing nostalgia? Or like being nostalgic?
Yeah,
or like the sense of loss that nostalgia is?
Ooh. I don't know, like...
It's because as a kid, you can look back on things and go, oh, that was a fun time. But as an adult, as you get old, you go, you will never experience that again. And that is why it's such a bittersweet sensation when you understand more of it. I would, after 25, I would say it was when I really started going like, oh, I want to experience this again. Teens, for like childhood nostalgia, seeing things, especially old games. I remember feeling very like Monkey Island, those kind of games, feeling very nostalgic about playing that with my brother as a kid.
Yeah. I think I want to say it was when I was probably like 15 or 16 is when I started to look at things that like, it was more that it felt like I wasn't allowed to get fresh joy from things. I know it sounds really sad, but it's like...
Not like being able to get fresh joy. That is a sentence.
Well, it's like, you're not... like all of like your childhood movies kind of thing, you're always kind of like searching for that nostalgia of like, the first time you watched Toy Story or the toys that you played with, or like, because it feels like at that time, at that age, you're very much like, well, I have to think about my future and my career, and I have to grow up, and I'm not allowed to like enjoy these 16, things anymore.
17, you were feeling these feelings?
Oh, yeah, because you have to apply for college. That's the time when you're applying for college and university.
Men and women differ. Also, perhaps Canada and Sweden. Also, thanks to World of Warcraft, I actually had a possible outlook on life. But I was on sick leave when I was 16. I was depressed, clinically depressed, and I was on medication.
I did not know that.
So World of Warcraft was like my way into society again and meeting people. So when you said like 16 is when you start thinking about the future, going, I think that happened to me when I was 25. I felt like, okay, I'm actually surviving this. I'm now alive.
There's a big pressure here when
I can imagine.
I think it's very much a North American thing. Like, it's not just like a Canadian thing. It's very much this, like, when you're 16, 17, you're like, I graduated from high school when I was 18 because my birthday's in the spring. But you can graduate when you're 17.
Do you have like prolific high schools where you chose, when you go to high school, do you chose like a course?
Yeah, you can choose.
Can you be like a
different
science major
courses.
in high school?
you can't, it's not like majoring, it's like credits. So like in order to qualify to go to certain universities, you have to have taken like grade 12 chemistry, for which you would have had to have taken grade 11 chemistry, like etc. Like your first 2 years are, you don't really have any choices. You take like general science, general math, English, French, geography. And then you have electives that you can pick. Or in my case, because I went to an art school, I had music theater classes. So dance, vocals, drama, and theory. Wow. Yeah, I had a weird high school experience. But grade 11 and grade 12 is when you start, like, you don't have to take science anymore if you don't want to. Or you can take, like, you take just chemistry, or you take just physics, or just biology. And then, but yeah, so like really at 16, when you're going into grade 11, you have to say, if I want to go to university to be XYZ, I need these credits from high school before I go there. So you're already having to like think ahead at that point. Yeah. And so I think that was kind of the moment where it was like, I don't know, and you also want to be cool. So like you can't be like being a kid anymore. Yeah. You start feeling like you can only get joy from being nostalgic about things instead of finding joy that is new from things.
Joy. Well, you will never experience fresh joy. Such an incredible sentence, and it makes me feel so many things.
Does it make sense, or am I like completely out to lunch?
It makes a lot of that. Is why I'm saying it's a sentence, because it's a real sentence where we cannot get fresh joy. You have to, like when you have a morsel stuck in your teeth and you go, that was a tasty treat back then. Or you understand what I'm saying? Or like you open your cup and you have a whiff of like something you used to have in there before and you go, oh, I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fresh joy. Yeah. Holy shit. I never thought of joy as a concept as something that is fresh or stale or like leftover joy.
I think nostalgia is leftover joy. I think that when you have something, and like I think many people, different generations have different like things that they cling to that are nostalgic for them. You know, you think about people that are super into Star Wars, and that is something that they get a lot of joy from. Yeah. And they get joy more from the old Star Wars than maybe from the new Star Wars, but they're allowed to get excited about it because it's nostalgic, right? Like they're allowed to experience it. They're allowed to experience that joy kind of thing. It's not frowned upon because it's nostalgic. It's like, for me, that's like Harry Potter. That's like such a huge nostalgic thing. Lord of the Rings is such a huge nostalgic, like all these nerdy-ish things that people have nostalgia for, like my brother and the Hunger Games. But it's also like, you know, TV shows and stuff like that from certain ages. And you're allowed to experience that joy. And like, I'm not saying that society says you're not allowed to experience joy, but I think that there is a fundamental point where our brains are like, you like, I don't know how to explain this, but this is why I haven't made the video yet, is because I haven't like put my thoughts into like proper order. But like, I really like things that are cute. And when I see something in a store and I'm like, oh my God, that's so cute, I am allowing myself to feel that joy from that cute thing. You know, like I like that. But I don't think that is something, like I can, but I feel like I can't like go into a store and see like a plush toy and be like, oh my gosh, that's super cute. That's super soft. Yeah. And then buy it for myself.
No. Yeah, I understand.
Why? It's cute and it brings me joy and it's soft. Like, it's like, you don't want to hoard stuffed animals necessarily, but like, you know, why is it that I can, why is it okay for me to go to a bar and buy a beer to find joy, but it's not okay for me to buy this like thing that brings me joy? But it's not. But societally, it feels like it's not.
Fuck societal. I
agree. Yeah, like I don't really care. But it is this like it does exist. That stigma is there.
Yeah, it's a lot more acceptable to or it's also more acceptable to drink yourself out of your skull than to meditate in the park.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Or exercising. Well, like, why are you here? I'm enjoying my picnic. I've been reading Dave Grohl's biography. holy shit, what a man.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit last week, I think.
But he uses a saying that I've now really taken to heart is let your freak flag fly.
Yeah.
Like how he doesn't give a shit about how he's perceived. Like he's here to play rock music. That's what he enjoys doing. He enjoys listening to rock music. And that is what he will do. And he will take
Luckily, Dave Grohl is just inherently cool.
He is. But I don't...
Rock music is inherently cool.
You should read his biography if you think he's cool. He's not always been cool.
Oh, I'm sure, but he has a status at this point.
He now is like an immortal rock legend. Yeah, where you go. Dave Grohl is the epitome of cool and just badassery because he's so laid back. Because he doesn't care. He's letting his freak flag fly, where he just goes, "I'm doing this."
Yeah.
If you have any objections, fine.
And that's also kind of where I've come to as well. It's like I know what I like, and I am not ashamed to like what I like and to be proud of what I like. And yeah, maybe it's silly to some people and whatever, but like I've reached a point where I find joy in lots of little simple things, and I really like that, and I am fine with that being the case. But it's more like it really begged the question of like, why can other people feel like they can't reach this point, you know?
Yeah. I think it also comes down to the accepting and letting people enjoy what they enjoy. As long as you don't expect someone else to feel the same way you feel about it. Is that
yes?
Because I think that's when it starts falling apart. When you try to convince someone that no, this is fantastic, you should also try it. Going, but no, that is not my scene. But if you enjoy filling your house with Funko Pops and you like that is your goal,
then great.
Well, it's fantastic. That is not my house, but
yeah, have at it. Yeah, it's not. And like that's the thing. Like don't yuck my yum. Like, don't yuck other people's yums. You've never heard that before?
Never heard that before. That's a very good
I love
well.
that phrase. Don't yuck someone's yums. If someone really likes something and it's not hurting other people, fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Just go, well, they're doing their thing.
Yeah.
They're obviously happy and you're bitching about it. Yeah. Yeah.
And like maybe you should be examining why you're bitching about someone else's happiness.
Yes. Is that what are we yucking someone's yum when we're talking about not being sexist?
Sexism is harmful.
Yeah, it is. There we go. Yeah.
So then yes, we are, but it's harmful. That's the key, right? It's like if it's not hurting people, let them have it.
Yeah.
If it's hurting people,
don't do it.
Also, don't do it.
There we go. Easy. The Alanna, the Matty Elfving scientist psychology way of if it's hurting no one, enjoy it. If it hurts someone, stop. There we go.
Yes. Wow.
Unless the hurting
Rules
is consensual,
for life.
And then if you're both enjoying it, then you proceed hurting people.
Yeah. If you're both into it, have a safe word. Communicate effectively.
Is that what we forgot? Having a safe word with politicians going, asparagus. Oh, sorry. No, yes.
Asparagus. That's a terrible safe word. Sounds too much like other things.
What does it sound like? Asparagus only sounds like asparagus. There is no other word that's like asparagus. Name one.
I just eliminate the paragus.
Because that is a phrase you say often. If you know the safe word is asparagus, did you say eliminate the paragus or asparagus?
I said eliminate paragus from the word asparagus. And what are you left with? It's the second half of the word.
As you said, eliminate asparagus from ass?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I was very happy. But then you only have ass.
I think in a sexual context, having a safe word that has the word ass in it is probably a bad idea.
I wasn't even... Okay, yeah. I thought you meant there are other words that sound like asparagus in common English. And I went, it is not my first language. I might not know. Dear listeners, if you have a word that sounds like asparagus, tell us. Or do you have a better safe word for us than asparagus?
I think the most common safe word I've ever heard is pineapple. I think I've like multiple different like movies and like people that I know use the word pineapple as like a safe word. I can see how
that would be a functional, because that would, very seldom.
It wouldn't come up in, that's not a word that comes up in common talking.
In common? Yes.
That was a sentence. Those words all went together.
Do you know what pineapple means originally? You are the ones who say it weird. It's ananas in Swedish, and it's the original.
It's also that in like Spanish. I think it's that. Yes. And I think in French it's also
the original word for it from like where they found it natively. And you know what ananas means in their language?
What?
A very delicious fruit.
Oh.
It is the best word ever. What should we name this? A very delicious fruit.
Oh, okay, very good.
Not so delicious fruit. Good.
Is that what bananas is?
Yes, exactly.
It's like ananas, but bad. Bananas.
Not banana. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Less delicious fruit. Oh.
It's a tier list in the language. This took a turn.
I don't know how we got here. I feel like I had a question for you too.
That Microsoft bought Blizzard.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my god. What a segue. I think I was gonna ask you something about the mindfulness piece with the acceptance thing.
Acceptance? Never accept. Accept.
Just like about the joy. About the joy thing.
Yeah.
About like mindfulness also being something that people like label you with, kind of like the meditation stuff.
Yes, where people go, oh, it's one of those new age things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's weird. And I was really scared about it in the beginning. Or like, if I were to talk about meditation mindfulness, something like a kook. But it's very basic. As you said, you can't outrun your thoughts or outthink your thoughts. And when you realize that just mindfulness is just you, just like you're stretching your legs after a run, you're stretching your mind and letting your mind rest. It's the same thing, and paying attention to things. Mm-hmm. But there is a stigma as well with that. And I come from a family of, have I talked about my dad at all? I don't think I have.
So there's been like little hints about your dad here and there, but not in detail.
My dad is an amazing man. He's a weird man. He's an amazing man. He grew up in Vienna during the Second World War. He was born in 1940. So in the midst of raging World War II, he was born in Vienna. Mm-hmm. Then he moved to Sweden, and he grew up Catholic and stuff. And when he came to Sweden, he cut ties with all that. And then he tried to find his own way in religion. And then he met my mother. This is a long story, but just highlights of it is that he met my mother. And she doesn't really care for religion. But she went like, if you like religion, you do you, fam. Go find your inner peace. So he turned to Buddhism for a while. And we had a llama at our house, not the animal, but like Dalai Lama's.
Oh,
like a llama would be more impressive, though. But yeah,
that's so exciting. I was very excited that you had a llama for a while. I was like,
but like that was his level of commitment to that, like actually meeting real people. And then he found Quakerism, the Quakers, which is a branch off from the Christianity thing. A lot of people turn to Quake. They are outspoken pacifists. So like during the Vietnam War, a lot of people turned to Quakerism to avoid a listing. So he found himself in Quakerism and subsequently left his family to go and do that. Which was weird for a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Goes, well, just gonna do a little quick stunt here. So we have a somewhat challenged relationship now. I love him and he's one of my heroes. He's a very, very smart man, but also, but he's been talking about mindfulness my whole life. So that has been like, for me, the stigma is that I don't want to become my father. Mm-hmm. And now I've taken my own path to end up at not the same place. Yes, the same place of being happy and mindful without abandoning my family.
Yes.
The old caveats.
Yeah. This
was a weird turn as well. So we've had ananas, the really delicious fruit, and now we've...
Yeah.
Nelly.
I think with my family, it was, therapy and mental health. So I'm cleaning my closet. The office in our apartment, when we moved in, we just like kind of put stuff away, and it's always been like relatively organized, but not necessarily in a way that makes sense. And there's definitely a lot of stuff in there that like doesn't need to be as accessible as it is. So we're like moving stuff into storage and whatever. But I found an old notebook of mine that was like kind of a journal, but like there was a period of my life where I was writing down memories, and some of them were like as it happened, but some of them were like me trying to like going back to like specific moments in my mind just to like write it down. And it could only be a page. That was my limit. It was like a really short like story kind of about something, about a moment. And I found that, and so I was reading a few of them, and there was one in particular where when I was experiencing my like chest pain that I've been experiencing for a really long time, I was at work and I was with somebody else and I was having trouble breathing, and I called my parents after the shift, like after like I was feeling better or whatever, and they were like, "Oh, I'm sure you're fine. You're just stressed, like this, that, and the other," like very like disregarding of it. And like that's like, my family is like, don't get me wrong, they're extremely loving and extremely caring, but it's very much like you have to fight your own battles. And so when it came to stuff like mental health, there were huge stigmas in my family about dealing with mental health, which is ironic because my family has a terrible history of mental health. Like a number of my family members like have like been diagnosed with ADHD and are medicated, or are clinically depressed and have been medicated. Like, and it's very well known. Like it's something that's like documented. And even with that, like my family still had this very like, "Oh, why are you thinking like that? You should just not think that anymore." Kind of way of being.
Bad. Yeah.
It's like, well, you're fine. You're not crazy. And like, I had really good grades all through school and all of this. So like, I always appeared like I was totally okay. And now realizing that, that's not the case. And when I started going to therapy, I remember it caught my family really off guard. But I really like therapy, and like I've actually like managed to get my mom to go to therapy, and my mom really likes therapy, but it was such a battle. It's just like, I'm fine, I don't need to go. And it's like, no, you're not. Like, you're not fine. I don't know how much I don't think I've really talked about my family much at all.
I think we both kept that side over that.
Yeah, my mom's family is an absolute mess, disaster mess. She has 2 sisters and a brother, and at this point, she doesn't talk to her sisters at all and hopes that she will never speak to her sisters again.
Holy moly.
But still stays in touch with her brother, and her brother has 2 kids like that are close in age to my brother and I, so like our cousins, and we're still friends with them. But yeah, that's it's not a great situation. So when her dad passed away last year, she had to deal with her family for the first time in like a long time. And so I was very adamant about being like, this isn't normal. This isn't something that you should have to deal with by yourself. Here's how you get a therapist, and the therapist is going to help you deal with this situation that like you don't have to go through this by yourself. They're just there to guide you and teach you how to have the tools to move forward and work on things on your own. And like, I'm so proud of her for going and actually doing that, and like putting her pride aside and saying like, no, I really do need to look after myself. And yeah, so it's been good. Steps in the right direction.
Yeah. Wow. And all of those journeys just start with like the first, as we talked about before, observing the pattern of this isn't good, and then taking steps to fix it. And you don't need to fix it all in one day. If you're listening to this, as always, if you're listening to this and you feel like something's off, it's worth checking out, and you are worthwhile. You should make sure that you are feeling okay, and you matter, and talk to someone.
You really do matter. Steps. And it's also like, you don't have to feel not okay to look for help.
Yeah.
I think, like a lot of people think like, oh, well, I'm fine. I'm still surviving. I'm doing okay. And so they don't seek support.
Yeah.
But the reality is like, if you react to things in a certain way, that you don't like the way certain things make you extremely angry or extremely sad or frustrated or stressed, and you don't understand why you're reacting in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Talking to someone is going to help you navigate that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be suicidal to go and seek help. That's what a lot of people think, is that they have to be at that point.
You don't have to.
Do not.
You don't have to wait and go, no, this is just but a flesh wound.
Yeah, exactly.
Last week we were talking about outrunning your thoughts, and we talked a little bit afterwards where you talked about like when you get in that position where your mind is racing that you have to do something else.
Yeah.
I then afterwards did something that I've been putting off, and I did it, and it was terrible. And you know what? If you've just recorded a podcast, and you might have left your Ableton up, and you're monitoring yourself, but you're not thinking about it, and you might have the lights on. If you're doing something scary that is making you anxious, do not hear yourself breathing monitoring. I did not realize that I was monitoring my own breathing, but I just heard myself go, sitting here, just like exponentially getting worse as I was hearing myself. And I realized, Theo, turn off the lights, turn off the microphone, sort the issue out, because if you experienced at this point and I could do it at that, it was okay.
I'm proud of you for doing the thing that you had to do.
Yeah, thank you. It's a very mundane task of sending an invoice.
Sometimes that's all it is, though, right?
Because I haven't sent an invoice in a while, and you're going, I don't want to.
I have a great story for you.
Yes.
It is, unfortunately, a little bit about NFTs, but in the best way possible. Are you ready for this story?
Yes.
So you might have seen it, / people who are listening might have heard about it. But Ghost told me about this morning, that somebody bought Dune, like the book / movie Dune. They bought an NFT version of Dune for $2.6 million. And they thought that they now owned Dune and could like make, like, they wanted to make like an animated series and like all this stuff, because they thought that because they bought the NFT of this book that they now owned the rights to Dune. Nope, you just spent $2.6 million on a novel that you could have bought for like $6.
That is impossible. But no. How? How do you accrue 2.6 million are that dumb? How don't you have a final advisor who goes, I'm gonna go on a limb here and say, sir?
Yeah. Most certainly.
The male urge to buy a franchise. This is not $2.6 million. Yeah. That is. Yeah. Wow.
Isn't that
is
hilarious?
Wild.
Like it just made me cackle with glee. Like,
World's worst.
Because I think because that community tends to think that they're like the smartest ever because they made millions of dollars from crypto and NFTs, that then to just have something like that happen is just
holy shit.
Chef's kiss.
It must be the world's best seller as well. Not the book, but like the salesman who pitched the, like, you can buy this NFT. Or did the person just ask someone, like, can I get an NFT of Dune? And then went, yeah, I'll put you in contact with this person.
I have no idea. I don't know the ins and outs of it.
My brain tingle in the weird way. Holy moly. $2.6 million.
They thought they owned the rights to Dune.
Like,
that's just something you can just buy without like signing contracts and paperwork.
No, it's a one-time purchase of a franchise. I'm going to buy the Matrix movie for $3 million.
Yeah, but you're not even buying like the Matrix movie. He thought he was buying like the creative property for Dune, like to be able to like make. Oh my god,
it is that. Yeah.
I just needed to share that with you because it's just a good little comeuppance.
It's so when people talk about copyright laws and go, wow, you don't know anything about a copyright, do you? I now see how they would think that, like, I've bought the trademark due the intellectual property. Going, no, yeah. Oh my, this is making my
like whole... It's like when you buy an NFT, you are buying a serial number. And if that's like, it's not technically a serial number, but you are buying a code, a number letter combination.
Mm-hmm.
That in a case of an NFT happens to be tied to something, usually an image, maybe an audio, maybe a 3D graphic, whatever. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what that graphic is.
Yeah.
It's the serial number is what's important.
Yep.
That is the thing that matters. You didn't buy Dune, the book. You bought a serial number that happens to have the images of the book on it. Like,
for $2.6 million. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I reverted to Swedish. Oi, oi, oi. Yes. I guess it's the same thing in English.
I'm going to say that's universal.
Yeah. Oi, oi, oi. It's a slight headache waking up the day after, going, telling your spouse, your family, what did you blow your money on? Yeah, the usual sports cars, NFTs.
Yeah.
Intellectual property of June. Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been trying something new, by the way. I was going to say this in the podcast that I thought you were taking a snooze, but you didn't. No.
What?
What? No, never mind. You had the lid.
Taking a snooze.
Snooze is chewing tobacco, but it's in the little bag. It's a Swedish thing, and I thought you were taking tobacco. What? It was a coffee lid. I
have 2 coffee cups. One of them is empty, and one of them is also empty, but was previously not empty.
Previously filled with coffee.
This is the difference, yeah.
I've
just been playing. If you're wondering what this noise has been the entire podcast, it's been me unable to stop fucking with these cups.
This is Pinocchio that I've been fiddling with.
Yeah.
I've been trying now to go to sleep.
Oh.
No, full stop. No, but
and that's it.
and like, but not sitting up at night because that's usually when my anxiety sits in. And I'm trying now to like go to bed earlier and go up and work and do things. And now that I had like the thing to do with the podcast, that was good. Also, trying the new thing that I did a few years ago, not lying down on the couch. So you train your brain, rhymes, that when you lie down, it is time for sleep. Because this is the thing. Like if you sit up all day and when you go to bed at night, your body goes, oh, well, time for sleep. But if you spend 4 hours per day on the couch looking at your phone, your brain might go, what are we doing? So now I'm trying to like retrain my brain into horizontal means sleep.
Interesting. Do you have trouble sleeping?
I do now, yes. I used to not have. I used to fall asleep the minute my head hit the pillow. And now it's the anxiety parade, where it's all brass instruments and everything that's ever. It's like one of those New Orleans brass bands, but everything is detuned and just horrible. Yeah.
So this is going to be a roundabout story, but I promise it's going to make sense. Yes. I'm reading a book. It's like a pretty dense, like fantasy novel called The Priory of the Orange Tree. Unimportant. Yeah. And one of the characters, I literally read this last night and I was like, I love this sentence so much. But one of the characters was talking to like the queen of the area or whatever. And the queen was confessing that she has a hard time sleeping because she has like nightmares and basically anxiety. Like it's a fantasy novel, so they're not calling it anxiety, but like, you know, she has trouble sleeping. And the character says to her that you wear your armor all day because you're dealing with people. And so you can't let them see the things that you are afraid of and the things that you are anxious about and the things that you are hiding. But at night, you are naked and all of your armor comes down at once. And it is the one time of day that you don't have that layer of protection. You're so exhausted from wearing your armor all day that by the time you get to the end of the day, you can't keep that armor up anymore. And I was like, huh.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I just thought it was a neat way of putting it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially for people that perform and deal with people for hours every day where you have to have a certain level of composure.
I had a dude come back today. Do you remember I talked about the dude with the metronome who said I should be practicing with a metronome? And
yes. And he got in your head.
He came back today. He entered the chat with the famous words, "I thought I was banned." And when someone says that in chat, all eyes are on you. And I was sitting there thinking, where will he go from here? And I went, and then I had to check his history because I couldn't remember the name. I went, okay, so it's that dude. Okay, well, fine. I will give him another shot. And then he started talking about, he was having his own conversation or monologue about something. And then someone was Irish, I think. And I said, well, there's something about Ireland. And then he said, I love Ireland, except the North Irish, they are assholes. Or something to that extent. And I went, yep, that's the ban. There we go. And I had no qualms. It was fantastic. I went, this is my space. I do not want this at all.
Good for you.
I will not even try to because usually you'll try to discuss with people and go like, can you try to keep a common... No. Why should I spend my time on an idiot when there are 120 people here who just want to hear music and not me being angry at someone?
Yeah. Bad. I had trolls at the very beginning of my stream last week on Friday, I think. And it ruined the first half an hour of stream for me. Yep. And a lot of my mods were busy that day, but then one of them had two people had come in together and they had both said nonsensical things. And so I hadn't acknowledged it because it was one of those, you're trying to get me to say stupid shit. And so I'm not going to say it. You're saying nothing that's relevant. I've been live for 6 minutes. And then they just kept going on to be like, oh, why won't you say hi to me? Why are you ignoring my messages? And so I'm like, oh my God. And so I was almost going to ban them. But then I saw that one of my mods had put them on alert. So it's they're watching them. And then I finally banned one of them because I couldn't handle it anymore. And then sure enough, the other one then just went off. Oh, you smelly bitch is what he called me.
Wow.
Unban this person. So it was obviously they were tag teaming, but I knew it from the moment they came into chat and they both said the same thing. Their names were similar. And I'm like, yeah, like you're either the same person or you're two people just here to troll. And like it was the day that I was celebrating A Song for Our Love coming out, and so like I couldn't talk about that. Like there's something about trolls that make everything else feel ridiculous. Like I felt like I couldn't talk about this like amazing thing that was happening because I was just distracted by these people. And like they were mostly harmless. Like they weren't like saying anything like horrible. And I smell fine, thank you. But it was just that like you're coming into stream and you're settling into being in streamer mode. You're turning on the light switches, and then like you're like 3 out of 4 switches are turned on, and you're already having to deal with like trolls. Like I'm not ready. My shields aren't up. Yeah. Like I'm not prepared for this. Before, yeah. And so like it threw me for like a decent amount of time.
Good on you for banning them.
Yeah, I just had it. I'm like, I just don't. The same as you. Like, it's like I don't care. I'm not going to put up with that behavior.
That's what we're doing in 2022. Normalizing banning people for not taking to the vibe. Going, this is okay. Well, there are different areas on the internet where you can go. If you do not like, if you have any objections to what we're doing here, fine, leave.
Yeah, bye.
Unless it's valid criticism from someone who I trust and who is a viewer that I know. I would love to hear criticism, but if you're new, we talked about this before.
Oh, yeah.
And instead of going, because you and I both want to please people.
Yes.
But we should be focusing on pleasing the people who are there already.
Yes.
But we both go into the non-confrontational mode going, okay, perhaps this person is having a bad day. I'll see if I can like talk. No, man, good. Farewell.
Goodbye. Yeah.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Yeah.
Goodbye. Yeah, I agree. I think it's the way healthier way of doing thing.
And not giving them rent in your or space in your head. Just going, no, you had your you had one shot at this. And the guy who came back, who was apparently not banned, going, I thought I was banned.
Yeah. I banned someone off stream a couple weeks ago now. We like talked about it in our like mod chat in Discord because he was just like, he DM'd me and it was rude and like it started out harmless and then it just got weird really quickly, and he'd been like weird in chat in the past. So like literally all of my mods, I was like, let's keep an eye on this person, and all of my mods were like, can we just ban him please? I've been wanting to ban him for ages, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you can go ahead and do that. So
mods are fantastic.
Mods are the best, man. The absolute gems of this earth. Can I leave you? I know. I was going to say, can I leave you with another little nugget of something to chew on for your brain space?
Fresh joy.
Fresh joy. That. But also, I've been reading a book and I'm really enjoying it. There's a couple like weirdnesses in it, but something that has really stood out to me is it's called Welcome Home. It's about like building a home within yourself. So it's a lot about like self-acceptance and self-love and stuff like that, which is again something that's often like very stigmatized and very like self-love in popular culture is like go shopping or have a bath or like whatever, but it's like it's so much more than that. Like self-love and self-acceptance really has to come like from yourself. Yeah. But she talks about that a lot of people, especially people pleasers, have a tendency to build their homes in other people. So, like, you meet someone or you, like, have a friend and you build a home in them and you make it welcoming and you make sure that, like, everything there is stable and secure and whatever. But then the power is in their hands. They can close the door. They can lock you out. And so that feeling of like I have that really, really, really badly. Like when I think that someone is upset with me, it is like, it is debilitating. And I'm working on that. Yeah. It is. And when I read that about, building your homes in other people, I was like, holy shit. That's 100% what I've been doing. I've been tending to that and not tending to myself. And I was like, by the way, for the viewers at home, Theo crossed his arms and made a pouty face for the duration of that story.
Did I?
Yes.
Yeah. That'll be a fun nugget to sleep on. That's my night pill.
There's your nugget for you.
Anxiety rage. Enjoy this. Yeah. So this week's homework is to start working on a ground floor in yourself, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. About thinking. I think just like for me, for some reason, it was really freeing. The more I thought about it, like I showered and thought about that and thought about all the outward connections. I'm so focused on maintaining those outward connections when it's like I should be maintaining my connections on the inside. This doesn't ring
true at all. I don't recognize any of this. This is false. I do not agree. God. This is like Goodwill Hunting. Like it's not your fault. Going, dude, fuck you. Well, I guess it's good. And this is a very true podcast. This is a genuine podcast, but like we talk about things, and apparently this is how we talk, which is weird and fantastic. We've known each other for almost a year now, where we've been talking.
We've been talking regularly for almost a year, but we've known each other for more than that.
But having the amount of trust to have a conversation with someone like this on record, even though we could edit, but we seldom edit these things out. But having and also just because it feels like I'm not ashamed to say these things and reacting to what you're saying, and it's a very genuine response. It feels good.
It does feel good. I was actually thinking about that the other day, just to get cheesy for a minute. But I was thinking about that, like just how quickly that you and I became so comfortable talking and like having these conversations, and like I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know. It just clicked like so quickly, and like you're right. We have these very like in-depth conversations, and like I'm not scared to like share things with you, I guess. Yeah,
same.
And like
there's no fear of being judged on what you're saying.
No.
It's just
and that's the way it should be.
Let people enjoy what they enjoy. Don't yuck in someone's yum.
Yeah.
Make street elephants a horse thing.
Make street elephants a horse thing. Thank you for podcasting with me today.
And my little buddy. I brought him out again from storage. My little elephant.
Hello, little elephant.
I forgot about my little elephant. You know, he lives in my desk now.
Stay tuned to the Discord channel on Friday when this episode comes out. There might be a little surprise for our wonderful viewers in that channel if you're interested. So keep a look there.
I'll be there on Friday.
Yeah, Theo's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You do, but I haven't. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay, perfect.
Go follow Theo in all of the places.
Yes.
You can hang out with me if you feel like hanging out with me. That's cool.
Go follow Alanna.
I'm around.
And we'll see you next Friday for another episode of Mostly Finished Thoughts.
Yeah. Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye. Jesus, the wave.
Waving
Always
away.
with the wave. Why?